And now, direct from the International Blind Cafe, welcome to The Cauldron.
Oh, for goodness sake.
That's good.
Yeah, I know.
So, ladies, I'm having friends over this coming up weekend. I'm a little nervous because I don't know about everybody else, but entertaining, I enjoy it, but it is nerve-wracking. I have to prepare so much more in advance, down to every last detail. I even like to, I won't today, but maybe not tomorrow, I like to start even preparing my food and then just storing it away so it's one less thing on that day to do. And cooking, it's hard these days. I don't make a ton of dishes. I try to make the most simplistic meals that either can go in the oven or in my air fryer because I cannot do the fry pan anymore. I cannot saute. If I can't see the food, I feel like I'm not cooking it properly. So I'm struggling like sometimes what menu I'm going to plan that's easy for me to assemble and still come out tasting well. So I was just wondering, what are your guys' thoughts? Like, do you guys like entertaining, cooking? Do you still cook or do you have somebody else cook for you?
I
wish.
heard that Elizabeth had a new toy
Yeah.
this weekend, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right.
I
That's
got my
right.
new air fryer, and it's actually a smart air fryer. Well, hopefully it's going to be smart, but you actually can operate it with the app on your phone. So I have to get my son to help me set that up today, but I'm been joining a few Facebook groups for the brand of air fryer and getting recipe tips and tricks. But I think that'll be so cool being able to monitor it from my phone and start it from my phone. It gives you reminders and updates as it's cooking. But I do cook very basic, and I must admit I do not like entertaining. And if we do, I really never have. But if we have people over, then I usually will cook something basic, like you said, Stephanie, and then my husband will serve it up, and then he and whoever guests volunteer do the cleanup after while I relax. So, what about you, Julie?
I tend not to entertain as much as I did, for sure. But it's the whole thing for me. It's the whole gambit. How clean is my house? And, people are coming over. And it's always the day after when my husband will say, look at the size of that cobweb in the mudroom. Like, why didn't you tell me there was a great big cobweb there before we had guests
Yeah,
over?
I know. Yeah.
I mean, not literally, but that kind of idea. But when I do, because we'll do it just at home, like we always sit down at the dinner table, whatever day of the week is, to eat supper.
Yeah.
And I like to do different things, but I tend to do one pot meals a lot now, like I don't know, Guinness and beef pot pie with cheese or something in the slow cooker, or the Instapot. Like those things are really, I really find that they're very useful. I love the thought of it being accessible from my device, though, because then I've got voiceover. Otherwise, it's like, oh, did I press the right button? Because it's not telling you when you press them. So
Yeah.
I just think it would be a lot easier to do that. And you know what has become quite popular in our house? A lot of times now are recipes that we got from Jason over on the Discord channel, the International Blind Cafe, the Discord channel, and then their live videos on Facebook as well. and he's the king of
Yeah.
one pot meals. We've
He's
had
got
some
some
really
great
good ones.
ones.
He really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Did you ever try the cabbage roll one, Elizabeth?
No, I haven't
Oh,
actually.
it's delicious.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it really is. And I love cabbage rolls, but trying to make them now, it's
Yeah,
too
messy.
tedious.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this was great. They were like disassembled almost. You just threw it all in the pot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I do like to cook, but I do find that I do a much better job when nobody else is home, and then they're not hovering, worrying that I'm gonna set the
Mhm.
house
Do
on fire or cut myself.
you guys have bump stickers or anything like on your stove? Like my face of my stove is digital, so my
Hmm.
husband does the like a square is for the start, and then a circle for the stopping, and then up and down arrows to 350, 400.
Yeah,
Otherwise I wouldn't be able to use my stove, and I could never again. Thank God we have a gas stove. An electric stove or the glass top, I don't think I could ever use that. How would you know where the coils would be? That
You
would be
feel
really
around and
hard.
you feel
burn your
yeah.
fingers.
Blow
You
your
don't
hand and
actually touch
oh, there
it.
it
You're
is.
supposed to just hover over the top
Yeah.
Yes.
to
Oh,
make
I've
sure it's
hovered.
on there.
Yeah. Oh my God,
Yeah.
speaking of that, I've hovered over a boiling pot accidentally and
Oh
singed
gosh.
the end of my hair. So safety is also it's
Yeah.
like, oops, Morgan,
If
what
I'm
about you? Oh, I'm
sorry.
sorry. We
No, go
haven't heard
ahead,
from Morgan.
Morgan.
Yeah, I can't do bump outs because I'm in an apartment, so I rent, and
Okay.
all the appliances and everything are theirs. And if the stickers won't come off perfectly, then that's an issue because then
Yeah.
I've ruined the appliance. And also for me, entertaining, I don't mind it, but I'm not a big cooker. I'm more of a baker. So I'd rather
Ooh.
make a treat and then order something out, you know?
Ooh.
Because like I'll cook basic stuff like boil some chicken. Yeah, I boil chicken. I like boiled chicken. I know it's kind of weird, but I do like boiled chicken. Um, and macaroni and cheese is easy. Boil the noodles, shred the cheese, put it in the oven.
Yeah.
Simple stuff
Mm.
like that.
I think
How do you,
I've told you my macaroni and cheese story about making a big pan of it with moldy cheese. And my husband said,
Yeah.
"Why is the mac and cheese green?" But I've actually found a hack for that. And it's these cheese storage papers and bags. And it's kind of like a parchment paper with a wax side. And they actually are made in Germany, but you can put your cheese into those and it stores it for so long. So I don't
Really?
need to worry about moldy cheese. So
ugh.
And are
yeah,
they available at, regular grocery stores, or did you have to get them online, or
I
you
ordered
know what
them
I
on
mean? Like
Amazon. Yeah, but it
Amazon.
takes quite a
Okay.
while to get them to you because of
Yeah.
where they're
Come
made. But
from Germany.
yeah,
Okay.
but other than that, like bump dots and the cheese
Yeah.
storage
Mm.
bags, and oh, and you mentioned, Julie, and I did buy it, was the glove, the safe glove
Yeah.
for cutting,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
amazing.
It is, isn't it? I've had one for years and I recommend it to everybody. And I was going to say that when you said about doing things that you don't feel safe in the kitchen earlier, Steph.
Hmm.
The no
Yeah.
cut glove is wonderful. You only have to buy one, and
Okay.
then whatever hand is not holding the knife, that's the one you put the glove on.
Oh,
So there's
that's
no danger of you
smart.
cutting yourself when you're chopping
Yeah.
or dicing or whatever.
Yeah.
But I like to use a mandolin so everything is, especially for scalloped
Even.
potatoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hold, like, if I'm doing it for scalloped potatoes, I hold the potato in my right hand with the glove on, and I cannot cut myself on that blade.
Wow.
Oh, I'm
I'm
gonna
not
look for that.
kidding. They're made of Teflon, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Oh,
they are. Yeah.
awesome.
yeah. And they're not
Yeah.
expensive. Well, I shouldn't say. I don't know how much they are
I
now.
got
But it was,
$14 for a pair.
Oh,
oh,
that's not bad.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
That I paid 14 for one, so they've
yeah,
come down in
yeah.
price for sure.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
'cause
really good.
Yeah. Do any of you use any of those liquid level indicators or things like
I
that?
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have one. Um, I do not like it. I prefer using my finger, honestly,
Hmm.
or
yeah, I
because
use my
just
finger too. Yeah.
it just the noise it makes drives me crazy.
Yeah, it
And I
is
know
very
it's
loud,
supposed to
isn't
make
it?
a noise, but it just drives me
Yeah.
crazy. So I use my finger, even if it's hot, like I'll hover my
Yeah.
finger and then you can kind of feel like the heat when it gets close enough and it's like, oh, okay, that's enough. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I also on in the stove, the racks in the stove, you can buy these. There's silicone strips that have like little teeth things that grip on the back, so then you can actually pull the rack out, just holding onto this silicone bar thing, so
Oh,
that you
Oh,
don't burn yourself. Um, and then the other thing that I really like in the kitchen is when I am pouring hot liquids, I always have my cup on a little metal tray so that if I do accidentally spill, because I tend to lean on the
yeah.
counter as I'm pouring, and if I accidentally spill and it runs down, I
Yeah.
burnt my stomach
Yeah.
one day.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I have a tray
yeah.
underneath now, and I find that useful. You know, when you're filling up the sugar container, Jason is the one that
Yeah.
taught me this trick. Put it on top of a tray or a baking sheet or anything so that if you do spill, because you
Easy
Yeah.
get
clean.
it's
Yeah.
easy clean. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I switched to sugar cubes for my coffee, which is super
Oh, yeah.
easy. And any hot liquids I pour over the sink. But I
I
also
Hmm.
have
yeah.
a Keurig, so no pouring coffee or overflowing coffee. But you have to remember to put the mug under it.
Oh, that's a good idea. Don't forget
Yeah.
that. I like that tip.
And and
Another tip that, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say real quick, Be My AI is really cool too. If you open your fridge and you're like, it will literally tell you because like we have cans, and I don't know if I'm opening a diet ginger ale or a beer. You know what I mean? Because they're
Yeah.
all the same size. So it will read it to you. It'll be like, on the left side of and then you can ask being seeing AI, what's on the right side, what's on the top shelf. And I mean, that is so awesome. Besides, I so many times have wasted. I went for a ginger ale, and this isn't ginger ale. And
Yeah.
I'm pouring it out and waste, because it's like I'm not drinking this beer, 10 in the morning, whatever it was. Yeah. We
Yeah.
have juice now. I have grapefruit juice, and one's like a lemonade. They're the same exact brand, same container. So unless I label it, seeing AI is really, really comes in handy because it reads it really well. So it's a good
Hmm.
one too for the fridge or even for your pantry. Anything.
Yeah.
Really good.
Speaking of fridge, I learned a really good tip. I'm tall, and when I'm cleaning in the kitchen, I wipe the top of the fridge, but I didn't realize I wasn't getting all the way into the middle. There was like a corner where my arms weren't reaching it. So when I went on the step stool one day to clean it, I saw this thing and I was telling the story in one of the rooms, and Uzi said, put cling film on top of your fridge because then you can't see it. But then just
Oh,
every week when you clean, you just take it off and put a new piece on, or once a month or whatever. You don't have to do it every week. But oh my gosh, that saves
that's
a lot.
ingenious. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can't get away from that film that you get in the kitchen, right? No
Yeah.
matter how many exhaust fans you have. But I
Yeah.
do find that's another thing is cleaning, like whether
Mm.
cleaning up in the kitchen after you've done dinner or just household duties in particular. So, Elizabeth, do you have any tips or tricks for that?
Sometimes cleaning, I feel like I'm just sweeping dust bunnies in circles. I try to sweep in grid patterns,
Hmm.
and most of the time that works. And as far as other cleaning, it's just I probably over clean because I think I'm missing things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I vacuum every day in the morning. I know it sounds like OCD, but it's like eventually I'm going to get it all, I think, because I'm doing it every
Every
day.
day, yeah.
And, yeah, with the pets and even my own hair, it's
Yes,
always like, so that, and my
I
least
agree.
favorite job is the laundry. I do have my husband separate a lot of the stuff because, especially things that might run colors. I mean, towels, we have the same color towels. Sheets, I only own white sheets, no other colors. I'm done with that. But I have him separate the baskets and then line them up for me, and then I'll do the laundry that way.
Yeah,
But because that's one of my least favorite jobs in the house to
yeah.
do.
Or again,
Seriously.
you could use Seeing AI or
True.
Be My Eyes, if you don't have
Yeah.
a person with sight at home,
True.
because I'm sure, there are lots of people that
True.
don't.
Right. If you
I
don't have
know,
someone.
yeah, I do here in Nova Scotia, and I know there's these services in other provinces, Ontario for sure, and Alberta. Um, we have the VON, which is the Victoria Order of Nurses. And within that company, which is a not for profit agency, there's not just the nurses that come and do wound dressings and things like that. There are ladies and guys that do personal care and home care. So they will come in and do, basic cleaning, help you with your laundry. They'll do meal prep with you for the week. And they'll do any personal care that you need. So there are a lot of, assistance out there for us through government agencies like that. So I recommend if you're in Canada, you look into that. If you do need any
Yeah.
help and you don't have a sighted person, yeah.
Do you do a lot of the cleaning, Morgan, or cooking?
I try to help out as much as I can, but usually my mom does like the sweeping and stuff because we have a dog who is allergic to air, right? So we don't want him to eat anything off the floor and then we have an expensive vet bill,
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
gets sick. So she does like the sweeping, but I try to do like the towels, laundry, and I like laundry. I don't mind laundry when it's when it's something like towels where I or my like just yoga pants and sweatpants where I can just dump it
Mm-hmm.
all in on cold and not worry.
Mm-hmm.
But it's putting it away, like you guys, like Stephanie said, I think that
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the hard part. I don't like putting away laundry.
No, and it's
Yeah.
not my favorite chore
Yeah.
either, to be honest. Yeah.
I love hanging mine out on the clothesline. I find it very therapeutic.
Me too. There's nothing nicer than getting in a bed that's got
Yeah.
fresh outside smell out to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sheets. No, I really like that too. But I'm like you, Elizabeth. I do it. Well, I do it in a grid
Yeah.
pattern. Um, but I don't always get it right, and I don't always get it all. And I just got to the point where I'd get so stressed I wouldn't invite people over. Even if they called and said, "Oh, I'm going to come over for," no,
No.
no, I'm busy. And And then I got to the point where it's like, okay, if you're coming to see me, come anytime you want. If you're coming to see my house, then make an appointment. And if you see something that needs cleaning, like a great big cobweb, ask me
Yeah.
where my Swiffer is and go
Yeah.
remove it from me.
Help
Yeah,
me.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, I think once we relax about it, then everybody else relaxes more around us for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. That's true. I was the same way as you, Julie. It's like, is the house look good enough? Does the house look good enough? Is it clean enough? It's like, I think
Yeah,
sometimes you gotta stop sweating the small stuff. People come over. I don't think they're paying as much attention as we think they are, but
that's true.
nevertheless,
Yeah. They're
we
not
want.
looking at your baseboards.
I hope
No,
not. I really hope not. Yeah, right. No, I hope not. And that leads back into cooking. Now, recipes. Like I use Alexa to like, give me a meatloaf recipe. So then I
Mhm.
follow the directions that way. Or I like YouTube for directions as well. For like
Mhm.
you said, Jason, do you guys like to find different, what are your tools, or how do you go about like finding new recipes or cooking by
I
a
use Google.
direction
Yeah, I use
too?
Google a lot, and then just
Mhm.
I have Alexa as well, but I find
Yeah.
Google quite good. And I, going back to that air fryer, I was mentioning to Stephanie the other day too but it's only available in the U.S. The air fryer has a
Oh,
function called scan to cook. So it will scan a barcode and it'll actually set up all the cooking um, temperature and time for you automatically, that would be
that's
so
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Why is it only available in the States?
I don't know. They get everything first.
Oh, okay. So is that all it is? Because
Maybe.
we've got the same electrical system, right? It's not
I
like if
know.
you go to England and you
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah, yeah,
can't plug your own stuff in. Yeah.
yeah. But it was
Well, that.
actually one of the other members in the Blind Cafe, Jackie, that recommended this air fryer. And
Mm,
so we do get lots of good tips from a lot of the members in the
oh, for
cafe.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, now we're back to cooking. I love my roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. And
Ooh.
that is one thing that I find daunting is the hot oils, because you got to get your oil smoking hot in your muffin tray before
Yeah.
you pour the liquid in. And no, you don't. You can pour it in oil, your mixture, put it into a cold oven, and it just takes 5 minutes longer. Put it up
Oh,
to
Wow.
425 or 450, and I'm all over that. So I think that's great because, I do like my Yorkshire puddings, but
How do
they
you
were
get
always nerve-wracking.
how do you get the batter into the muffin tins without making a mess?
Oh, I use a measuring cup.
Right.
So the half cup one or the whatever it is, I can't remember now which one it is. It's the one that has two bumps on it.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, so I just scoop it up out of the bowl. And I learned this tip from a chef a long time ago. If you just lightly dip the bottom of the utensil, whatever it is, on the top of the batter, it stops it from dripping. And then I use the
oh.
measuring cups with
Oh,
the little
okay.
spout thing, like it's got a little
Yeah.
pour spout on the side. Yeah,
So it doesn't go all over the rims, because that's always my
doesn't go
problem
all
when
over the
trying to
rims.
put
Yeah,
batter in, like,
yeah.
oh,
And how do you
oh.
do that when the tray's smoking hot and the oil's hot? Like that's just too scary for me.
Yeah. I have a
Um,
question for Morgan about baking. So baking is precise, Morgan, right? Teaspoon, half teaspoon. That's why I don't bake, because I don't have the patience. How do you do all your measuring and everything when you're baking?
For me, baking, like, yes, some things you want to be precise, like baking soda. You don't want to, just guess how much baking
Right.
soda, right? But I really go by texture, especially, you know what I
Oh.
mean? Like, is
Mhm.
it depending on what you're making? Like, say we're making sugar cookies, you want
mhm.
the dough to be, hard enough that it's gonna form a cookie, but not too
Oh,
hard, and you don't want it all runny. So
Yes.
okay.
I base off like, oh, okay, it's too runny. I need more flour or more sugar, or hey,
Hmm.
it's not, it's too hard, so I'm gonna add a bit more water or a bit more vegetable oil or something like that.
Yeah.
So
So a lot of it. Sorry.
I just say I don't find baking to be that precise. I go more by like instinct and feel when I bake. That's
Mhm.
why I like it more than cooking.
Yeah. So you rely on your muscle memory, right, for that. And
Yes.
I think you said earlier, Steph, that you don't like to saute anything anymore.
No,
I
no.
always saute my onions, garlic, mushrooms, anything that's going into a casserole because it releases the flavors differently. But
Yeah.
I just go by sense of smell. I,
Yeah. Some things
the
I'll do,
onions are
but
going to take, yeah.
yeah, a few things like mushrooms I will do, because you can test them. But like
Yeah.
those skillet things, like sauteing chicken, or I used to make, and I don't make it anymore, is eggplant parmesan. And I tried baking the eggplant in the oven. It just doesn't taste the same, at
It's
least
just
to
no.
me. It's when
Yeah.
you fry them first and you put them in.
Yeah.
So I tend not to make that dish because I did try and I almost, well, burnt one too. It just got that it was not a good experience. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this anymore.
No.
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 So I don't make that one anymore. And I used to enjoy doing it. So it's
I tend to
awesome.
stick to recipes that I know as much as possible. What about you, Elizabeth?
Yes, absolutely. And like you mentioned, one pot dishes, like I love
Mhm.
my slow cooker. There's only
Mhm.
like one dial hot, you
Mhm.
know, and or sorry, I should say high and then low and
Yeah.
then off. So,
Yeah.
but I love doing that in the morning, and then your dinner's all ready for,
Oh,
at night. You have
and
nothing
you
to
can
do. Yeah.
and you smell it all afternoon
Yeah.
cooking.
Yeah.
And there's nothing nicer than, for our family coming, I
Yeah.
think, when you come home from work and you walk in the house and you can smell the
Yeah.
supper, it's like, oh,
Mhm.
yeah,
And I
Yeah.
think
it's
I
a
do the
lovely.
same rotation,
Yeah.
like Stephanie said, of, the same 5 to 10 meals,
Yeah.
rotating them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
those are by muscle memory by now,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I
Yeah.
don't really have to worry that I'm contaminating or the house, you
Killing
know.
anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, killing
Yeah.
anybody too
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So, ladies,
And
completely
yeah.
changing topic here before I forget.
Okay.
Do you realize that this is our second to last episode for this season? Like,
Oh my
then the next
God.
one's the last one. I cannot believe
Time
it's
flies.
been, doesn't it?
Wow.
It really
Yeah.
does. And I was thinking the other day about it and how different I feel about doing, say, today's episode than I did doing the very first episode.
Oh yeah.
And all the worries and things that I had about before we started it. And now it's, I can't wait for the
Yes.
next one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. We've come a long way.
we
Yeah.
really have. We should talk about that next time, actually. I think it would
Yeah.
be quite
Be fun.
amusing. But yeah, it's certainly been different. What about you, Morgan? How have you found it?
I found it really interesting because I was so
Mhm.
nervous that first episode. And that was an easy episode. We just introduced ourselves, we just
Mhm.
talked.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's so weird that we're going to be done next time we record.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really is. It's just gone by so fast. But we should get into it more
Yeah.
on the next one because I think that's just going to
Sounds
go
good.
on for a
Yeah.
little.
If you'd like to continue this conversation, we invite you to join us in the Cauldron on the International Blind Cafe Discord server and the Facebook group.